so this sequence is going to take you through some spinal mobility, both for your neck, your cervical spine, your mid-back, thoracic spine, and your low back and pelvis. You're going to want to be comfortable, obviously. Shoes on, shoes off is up to you. I like to be on a mat to protect my knees a little bit, but we're going to be doing some standing and laying down positions, so whatever works best for you. So go ahead and follow along. If you're feeling tight and stiff, this is a great sequence to do before or after your workouts. And we just know that the spine is supposed to be mobile, and so when we get stiff and our posture gets stuck in the same patterns over and over again, these are things that we can mix into our day or do the whole sequence at a time to get us a little bit of extra mobility. So we're just going to start in child's pose for 3 breaths. You can find your way to tabletop for some cat-cows to get us warmed up. You're going to inhale, lift your tail and lift your chin. Exhale and round the spine. Let's do 3 more. Good. You're going to reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath and swoop that arm down and underneath. And 3 more. Shake it out. And we'll repeat 5 on the other side. You can find your way to a kneeling or seated position, whatever's most comfortable for you. You're going to clasp your hands together and round your shoulders and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We'll take some neck circles, choose a direction. You're gonna make the biggest circle you can. And then 5 the opposite direction. Good. If you're sitting, you can put your one hand underneath your bum, or I'm just gonna kneel and kind of do the same thing. You're going to drop your ear to your shoulder, and we're gonna take 3 breaths here. The other side. Good. If you are kneeling, go ahead and find your seat. First, we're going to do some lateral bending to open up the rib cage. So you're just going to support yourself on one hand. You're going to reach up and over. You're taking a nice deep breath as if you're filling the rib cage in that open armpit. Good. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. All right, this time you're going to reach up with both. Exhale, turn. You're not pulling or forcing yourself into a twist. You're just using a gentle hand on your knee to help facilitate that rotation. I want you to think about that rotation happening through your spine versus pushing yourself versus staying tall up on your sit bones and gently rotating. So it's inhale, exhale. One more each side. Good, so we're gonna come down to our back now. And the next one, we're gonna take a long pose into a spinal rotation. You're gonna stay there for 5 breaths. You can choose which side to go to. I want to make sure that this top knee stays on the ground, so I don't want it to rotate open as you roll into your rotation. So it's gonna look like this. So this is a good one to maybe pause the video here if you feel like you want a little bit more time in this pose to sink into it, let that top leg and that glute relax into that top position. I myself feel a little stiff today, so I could have stayed there a while, but minimum 5 breaths, but feel free to stay there longer. And then we'll switch to the opposite side. And again, feel free to stay there longer, pause the video, and when you are ready to come out of it, we're going to come to our tummies. So in this position, first I want you to make sure you're listening to your body and prop up onto your elbows here. It would be normal for some people to feel some stiffness in that low back, top of the pelvis area. We don't want these sensations to be pinchy or sharp. The goal is just to feel that stretch. If you feel a stretch here, then maybe this is just as far as you go today. You can stay here and just breathe gently. You can come down and then pop back up. A couple things I want you to keep in mind here is we are not doing yoga here today, although it might look similar. So if you are familiar with yoga and have done it and have heard of Sphinx pose, or even like up dog pose, this is not what we're doing here today. And I really want you to be conscious of keeping your glutes and your back muscles relaxed. In Sphinx and upward dog pose, there is typically a lot of activation. I'm squeezing my glutes and pulling my spine back and really looking for that activation in that pose. And for you today, that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm really looking for those glutes to be relaxed. I like to say, imagine your spine hanging like a string of pearls between your shoulder blades and your pelvis or your sacrum, that triangle bone above your bottom. So that it feels really nice and relaxed. You're a little kid watching TV, right? We're not forcing or holding ourselves up. If this doesn't feel like much of a stretch for you, or maybe you're looking for something a little bit more dramatic in your stretching, then you can feel free to put your arms around armpit height and we're pushing up. Now notice my pelvis is staying on the ground. My pelvis is staying on the ground here. It's not way up here. My glutes are not contracted. They are relaxed. And my spine is still hanging like a string of pearls between my shoulder blades. So we're not going to stay here, and again, this should not feel pinchy or sharp. We're actually going to relax in the downward position. We're going to push up. You're going to take a deep breath. Make sure that spine and those glutes are relaxed, and then come back down. Now, there is a little in-between here. If you feel like the elbows is not enough and hands by the armpits is maybe too much, you can walk your hands out from your armpits a little bit. And this is a little bit of an in-between here. It does not matter if your toes are up or toes down. You can see I've gone in between each different type. So the goal here is that maybe you feel a stretch in your rib cage and your abs. Maybe you feel a little bit of that stiffness in your low back. So we're just gonna go through like 6 more here. Again, feel free to do this one between 5 or 10 or a few more than that times. All right. And so lastly, we're going to take it just a little bit further. We're going to combine some rotation with this movement. So again, this is one that make sure that you have enough space, make sure it doesn't feel pinchy or painful, you're not forcing it. I don't want you to go into a cramp or a muscle spasm, but it is a little bit challenging. It's called scorpion. You're putting your arms out like a T, and you're going to reach your opposite foot towards your opposite hand. So it's going to look like this. And we're going to alternate. And our last movement for today, you can come to the top of your mat, find a sitting position. I want you to just fold over and rest. So you let your head hang. Maybe a pillow here might feel good for you. So I hope you feel good. Come back to this whenever you feel like you have some low back pain, some thoracic or rib pain, or feeling some stiffness in your neck.